The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who just recently ran out into no man's land. Welcome, Jacob.
Well, I'm not exactly Wonder Woman. I can't deflect bullets.
And yes, but I do think you got the ears for it. D-Lids, what have you been doing?
Oh, great. Come on, D-Lit.
What do you mean you haven't been doing anything? I can see the ears coming out of Jacob's head.
What's up, Doc?
What do you mean they're coming out of my head too? Oh my goodness! D-Lids! Why do you keep doing this? Anyway, folks.
That's what we get for hiring an AI assistant.
Yes. Well, you didn't exactly hire her. She just kind of worked herself into the project.
That is true. So we got to.
But it does make this interesting. So
that is true. Why? Thank you. And let me introduce our co-host, a man who feel like the cat's cute and everything. I get it. It's a cute little black kitty. But you realize this thing is maybe possessed? Welcome, Drew.
You know what cat you're talking about.
Are you sure? There's a cat right over there, man.
No, that's just a figment of your imagination.
Oh, okay. Maybe I do need to get checked in by a psychiatrist. Or how to remove these ears.
Oh, those apparently will go back down in a bit, I bet.
I would hope so.
I bet.
Come on.
What do you mean you don't know? How did you do this in the first place? I haven't even... Wait, what was in that Coke? And when did she give you anything?
I don't know. Now she's lacing our stuff. Be like, great.
I'm going to have to run a virus scan on you, aren't I, D-Lit? What do you mean, maybe?
Oh, great.
Anyway.
This sounds like a certain film that's,
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
So, Jacob, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing very good. Minus I hearing the passing of a friend of mine. Now let's just be like, she'll be truly missed. Truly missed. And I heard the news just before I came over. And it was just devastating to hear. We didn't know it was going to go that direction, but yeah, just definitely pray for her and her family. Her name is Lauren.
All right.
Other than that, work has been good. By the way, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We're in 2023 now.
Yes. Coming into our 5th season.
In just a month.
Just a month. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's been pretty good. I think me and Ashley went out and Ashley's mother, I'm not gonna say names, had surgery, and we went and visited her in town, and then we went and had dinner, and she bought me this wonderful jacket for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
It was a size too big. It looked like a blanket on me.
A denim blanket.
I've heard
of worse things.
Yeah. So we went and exchanged that, walked around a little bit, hung out, and then we went to a New Year's party. And yeah, it's been a roller coaster since then.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on drawing each and every day like I used to, and maybe pumping more content out.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed I've got more traction on my my Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner. You can go check me out over there. I noticed I got a lot more traction now, which is very interesting.
Sometimes it happens that way.
Sometimes it does. Sometimes it does. It's like you put yourself out there artistically and creatively. Be like, people start to notice. So, anyways, I've been doing that, and yeah. So, what have you been up to?
Oh, nothing much. Work, podcasting on other shows.
Yes.
Namely, Henshin Men with Nate from the Monster Island Film Vault.
Yes.
Where we're going through. So if you're not caught up with that, for one reason or another, his previous co-host had to dip out, and he'd been doing a couple of little quick guests here and there, and he'd done a couple episodes by himself because he wanted to get Common Rider finished because that's a 99 episode show, and they were like 3/4 of the way through it.
Wow.
So I just went and popped off. Hey, if you need someone to help you go through any of these, I'm available, and I'll do however many you want me to do.
You volunteered as tribute.
I volunteered as tribute. Hey, it worked once before. Why not twice?
That is true. That is so true. I don't feel abandoned at all.
I didn't abandon you.
Or betrayed.
I didn't betray you. This is just another. How many times have I guest hosted on like Retro or at the time I did that devotion for Geek Devotions? This is not any different.
Oh, I know. I kid.
But I did not come in until like episode 86 of Kamen Rider.
That is true.
And I'm leaving like sometime around episode 97.
Oh, okay.
I think basically until either A, the show stops, or B, he stops calling me.
Oh, okay.
That's about where this is going to go.
Totally
Whichever comes first.
Yeah, which would be like the idea of like you're helping a friend out.
That's pretty much what I'm doing.
Fine. That's cool.
I
love that kind of stuff.
He wants to call me a co-host. That's fine. I'm just guest hosting. That's all I'm doing. It's just an extended guest host.
Yeah, an extended guest host until get things worked out.
Exactly. So go check out that. I think I shared that out on our Facebook page today.
I saw that this morning. I was like, I need to listen to that.
Yeah. Those 2 episodes are interesting, to say the least. One of the monsters is half lion, half spider.
Oh, okay. And
don't ask me how that works.
And it's Nate. It'd be like it's always gonna be very entertaining in itself.
It's 70s tokusatsu on television. It's gonna be goofy,
of course,
but it's a great goofy. It's a fun goofy. So yeah, I've been doing that. Other than that, it's just been a normal kind of week.
I gotcha.
So Jacob, I have a question for you.
What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? Besides the ears grow in my head, a lot of YouTube, actually. A lot of YouTube.
Have you now?
Yes. Like I usually do, I'll watch or listen to The Casual Chemist on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
For those who love true crime and love just crime in general, it's a great podcast. It's a great YouTube channel.
If you love crime,
yeah, it's right up your alley.
I think what you meant is if you like true crime stories.
Yes, there
we
go.
Actual crime.
Yes. Be like, yes, you have a sense for blood and murder.
Murder most foul.
No, be like, it's a great podcast you want to listen to if you're a true crime enthusiast. So I highly recommend it. I've recommended to a ton of people. I'm not being told to say this, or this is not a promotion or a paid promotion from Simon Whistler, who runs the show. It's just been like,
though, if you want to,
yes, if you want to
support our way, we will gladly
we'll
gladly talk about it. We're gonna talk about you anyway. We'll just take that money off your hands.
Exactly. But I watched that. I've been reading through Killing Floor. It's the first Jack Reacher novel.
Mm-hmm.
That's by I feel terrible as a just general when I can't forget. I am terrible with names, people. If you haven't listened to us for the last 4.5 years, no, of course not. But I will remember his name.
Jack Reacher?
No, the author.
Right. I was making sure I was thinking because it's the same guy who wrote. Wait, no, not Hunt for Red October. That's Jack Ryan.
Yeah, it's Jack Ryan.
I don't know Jack Reacher.
Yeah, Jack Reacher. They recently they finished season 1 on Amazon Prime with Reacher. And apparently, what I've seen be like, yeah, the guy looks like Jack Reacher. Big burly guy you do not want to mess with. I know it's something.
Lee Child.
Thank you, Lee Child. Thank you very much. So I've been going through that book. It's really good. I've been listening to Audible on Audible. There again, not being, no paid subscription from Audible, but again, happy to if you want to. But yeah,
Just start paying your people better.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I
don't get political much, but it's like when I heard how bad they were doing, it's like, yeah, Audible needs to pay some more.
Yeah.
Amazon, you got the money. Anyway.
True.
And we just got delisted from Amazon.
But yeah, just I really enjoyed the book. I'm trying to get through it. There again, growing with a person who has reading disorders and ADD and dyslexia, reading was kind of hard as a kid. So I'm trying to get into reading more, and it's really encouraging. It helps you, develop your vocabulary. And yeah. So other than that, I have been doing Spectacular.
Okay.
How about you? What have you been watching, listening to, or playing?
I finished Ultra Q.
Really?
Yes. It's a good show if you like kind of Outer Limits style black and white television shows.
Okay.
In Japanese.
Yeah.
From the 1960s with kaiju.
Huh.
And I finished Ultra Q because I wanted to watch Ultraman, which Ultra Q is technically is before that, even though Ultraman never shows up in Ultra Q.
And
which
is weird.
I'll be the first. Well, I'll tell you why, because I actually looked all this up.
Really?
Yeah. The suit that would end up being Ultraman was originally intended for Ultra Q as just another alien that was going to come that they'd have to deal with. And the show got canceled before they had a chance to actually make that episode.
Huh.
So when they decided to make a new show, he told the guy making the suits, hey, make another suit like that alien we made, but paint it up red and silver. And that's going to be our new superhero, basically.
Oh, okay.
And they reuse a bunch of the old Ultra Q suits in there. The only real issue I have is apparently the only real handoff between these two shows to really make them feel like it was a televised theatrical performance that allowed them. I don't know. It's not, I don't think it's on my DVD or on my Blu-ray over there. So it's like, I have no idea how these people switched. Now, from what I've heard, it's something I'm going to get to be talking about next week on what I've been watching. Shin Ultraman does a better job of making that handoff.
Okay.
So I'll talk about that next week.
Got it.
When I can actually have an opinion. But until that point, along with that, of course, I've watched 2 episodes of Ultraman because I was curious. It's a good show. Of course, I've been watching Kamen Rider since I'm on that.
Yeah.
But I've also been playing something else for another project that got released.
Yeah.
Since we last had an episode.
Yeah.
A personal project that is a Cellcast production, technically. And it's that because I'm the one doing it. And I said, oh yeah, this is Cellcast.
Yeah. And also, we got a lot of stuff with the pipe. Just stay tuned.
We got some stuff coming.
Yeah.
But I released the first 2 episodes of Untangling Kingdom Hearts, because I did technically already start Untangling Kingdom Hearts for Kingdom Hearts Key, which I'm going to return back to that in over the course of time. But I was wanting to get back to some of the stuff that really got me interested in the game.
Yeah.
And why not start with the one that got me really interested in the franchise?
Okay.
So, and there's a lot of things in there I kind of want to talk about, and I ain't 2 of them yet.
Got it.
But yeah, I played a little bit of that game. So, that's just the best kind of research.
Just playing
a game. It's like, okay, let's see what I ran into in this section. Look, I just did it since it was just the opening cutscene. Yes. The cutscene that I never understood for 18 years, 19 years. Literally, I did not figure out what that opening cutscene was supposed to be until I watched it again for Untangling Kingdom Hearts.
Wow.
And I finally realized, it's foreshadowing. That's all this is doing.
Oh, okay.
It's actually really good foreshadowing.
Really?
All things considered. But I never caught that before. So I'll be talking about that on that. So go check out all that stuff. Anywho, so I've been playing that and watching all that tokusatsu, and I've been playing another game. And I would like to, while Xbox is not paying us, though I'll gladly take money. I'm just going to say Xbox Game Pass, if you have an Xbox, is a great deal because anything that's Xbox Game Studios, you can play for free if you've got Xbox Game Pass.
Really?
Yeah. And a couple other things are in that service too. It's kind of one of these Netflix for gaming experiments, except I think this one actually works because it will actually download the game to your console.
Really?
Which is nice. And so since I finally finished for the first time last week, which I didn't ever think to talk about, but our last weekend actually, I finished playing the original Psychonauts that was on the original Xbox.
Oh, okay.
That is kind of and that's it's like a Saturday morning cartoon, but in 3D. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so I beat that. I then played the technically it was a VR game, though I didn't play it in VR, but the semi-sequel Psychonauts in the Rhombus of Ruin, which was supposed to split between Psychonauts and Psychonauts 2, which Psychonauts 2 just came out to either last year or year before last, but I never got around to playing it. Because I thought I got to finish Psychonauts before I play Psychonauts 2.
True.
Makes sense. And I've been playing Psychonauts 2, and that's a trip.
What I've heard of the game, yes.
Yes. The level I just got done doing was set in a competitive cooking game show in which you are trying to feed puppet versions of all the quote unquote head of the Psychonauts organization, but they weren't just puppet versions, that they were also animal half breeds of those people.
Oh.
So it's like, it was weird and fun.
That is weird.
But it was a lot of fun. If you've never played Psychonauts, highly suggest checking it out. I think I saw it on Steam on sale right now for like $2.99.
That's not a bad deal. Not a bad deal.
I have no idea if this is live when on the audio version, and definitely probably won't be there for you people way in the future, high future people.
High future.
D-Lit says high future people. Also, there might be people listening to this years down the road. You never know.
That is true. That is so true.
Anywho, so yeah, I've been playing those, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
So, Jacob, my next question for you is, what do we got in the news?
The Cellcast News with your host Jacob Heron.
Why, thank you, D-Lit. For the ears, not so much.
He says you're welcome.
If I start growing up, I can tell we might have an issue.
She also said you're also welcome for the ears, but whether you like it or not.
Either or. Exactly. So in the news, so we're rounding out the end of the year for 2020 and 2022. Sorry, 2022.
So if we're still in 2020, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I'd be like, why are you talking about stuff you're supposed to be talking about in the future? Either or. So for the year 2022, they put out a graph of the top movies of the top animated movies of the year, and so I'm going to read off a few of them. But beforehand, I want to pick Drew's mind. What do you think is the number one movie animation wise in the US of 2020 of 2022?
2022.
Yes.
Avatar: The Way of Water.
It's anime. It's anime.
That's why I said Avatar 2: The Way of Water.
It's pretty. I agree with you.
There's a lot of animation in that movie.
Yes, there
might
is.
be close.
But no, it is not.
Okay, let me give you a serious answer. How's that?
Yeah.
Let's see. What do we have this year? We
reviewed most of these.
I figured we did. So we had Encanto very early on this year.
Yeah, very early on.
Although that may have technically been last year.
I think it was last year, I think.
Okay. Let's see, we also had The Bad Guys. which deserved more than it got.
Agreed.
We also had Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Superhero.
Mm-hmm.
We had Lightyear.
Mm-hmm.
We had Turning Red. That was this year.
It was, yes.
We did have Strange World, but neither one of us have seen it.
Yeah. Super Pets.
League of Super Pets, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think what else there was.
Sonic 2.
That's about as animated as Avatar 2, The Way of Water.
That is true. That is so true.
I ain't count it, but I also counted Avatar 2.
True. Oh,
I'm going to say Sonic 2 because I think that one did better than I think a lot of stuff did this year.
Well,
performance-wise, whether it was better technically is another matter.
Okay, you were off by one. In the United States, it's Minion Rise of Gru.
We still haven't watched that one either.
No, we haven't. I mean, like, heck, we have to get through the rest of the Minion movies to do that.
We got to get Despicable Me 2. We got to get, Despicable Me 2, Despicable Me 3, Minions 1 before we get to Minions 2.
Yeah. Technically, this is Minions. This is Minions 3. Because there was a Minions 2.
This is Minions 2.
Okay.
There's not been a Minions 3 yet. Now, granted, Minions: The Rise of Gru has been on the list since 2020.
That is true.
That may be where the confusion here lies.
There possibly.
You keep talking. I will do some looking up. I'm fairly certain I'm correct.
All right. So, U.S. gross was Minions: Rise of Gru with $365.6 million, followed closely by Sonic the Hedgehog. I'm presuming that's 2. Lightyear, The Bad Guys, DC League of Super Pets, Song 2, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, La La Crocodile, Dragon Ball Super, and in dead last, Strange World.
That makes sense.
That is true.
Degree.
So
we got Despicable. I'm looking at the list right now.
Okay.
Of the main series, we got Despicable Me 2, 3, and 4 in 2024.
Okay.
Did not know 4 was announced. Minions and Minions: The Rise of Gru are in the prequel series, but that's all there is.
Okay. I'd be like,
I thought Minions Rise of Gru has been on has shown up 3 years in a row.
That is true. So that's probably where the confusion lies.
Yes, because I think it was nearly done in 2019 and it got delayed to 2020, and we all know what happened in 2020.
Thanks, COVID.
Yes, you put this 4-year-old movie off.
I'm curious. I'm generally curious if Minions: The Rise of Gru, ever since it was produced from 2019 2020, I'm curious.
I have to actually. I don't remember.
No. Of course, it was in production in 2020. Yeah. The studio had to shut down due to COVID, and they weren't able to complete it until late 2021. Far as I understand, or they were continuing to work on it in 2020 or 2022, and they're releasing it this year finally. But I'm curious if they play jokes or they reference thing that is something from almost 4 years ago.
It would be a little weird considering the movie takes place in 1976.
That is true, but it'd be like they always throw jokes, modern jokes.
True.
It's a historical or
okay. I was wrong about it originally supposed to be coming out in 2019. It was nearing the end of production in 2019.
Oh,
but it was was not originally supposed to come out until midway through 2020, and we had already been seeing trailers for Rise of Gru at the end of 2019 along with Trolls.
I got you.
And Onward. I think those were the big animated ones at the time.
Okay. So international box office right now be like it's Minions again, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. This list doesn't really change much, except for number 6. You have number 2 Sonic, number 3 The Bad Guys, 4 Lightyear, which I'm very surprised Lightyear was there. Is that high on the list?
Yeah, because it was not well received.
No, it wasn't.
As they wanted it to be.
True.
Honestly, Turning Red should have been the first to go back to theaters in Lightyear.
True.
Even though I follow the thought process.
Mm-hmm. Number 5, DC League of Super Pets. Number 6, One Piece film Red.
Yeah, well, neither one of us saw that.
No, because
we've not watched One Piece.
I've watched about this much of One Piece out of the thousands of episodes they already have.
I watched the first 20 episodes of the real dub, not the original 4Kids dub.
Oh gosh, that rap. Oh, I remember that rap.
Gotta go.
It's catchy. It's catchy.
I don't know the whole thing.
Me either.
Set sail for One Piece. It's the name of the treasure in the Grand Line.
All right, so number 6, Puss in Boots. 8, Lala.
I forgot about the Puss in Boots.
Yeah,
I think this is the second week in a row I forgot about Puss in Boots.
Yeah, Puss in Boots. Lala, Alec, Crocodile. Number 9, Dragon Ball Super, Superheroes, and Stranger Things is not number 10. It is a
Strange World, you mean?
Strange World, sorry.
Strange World's probably not even on the list.
No, it's not.
Which is sad because I'm now just curious what this movie is.
Yeah,
because there are sometimes these movies are perfectly fine and they just get a bad rap.
Agreed.
Like The Good Dinosaur. I think The Good Dinosaur is a perfectly fine movie, but everyone talks about like it's the worst thing Pixar ever made.
I got you.
And then I wonder if they remember some of the other Pixar films. Like A Bug's Life. Anyway.
Sorry, I got caught off guard by one of the comments.
That's been up there for a good 10, 15 minutes.
Yes, I know. I just saw it. So either way, so that is the top 10 releases from 2022.
Okay.
So now that we are in 2023, I'm looking forward to the movies that are coming out this year.
We will talk more about that on our anniversary episode, as we always do.
Yep. So just be like, if you have any movies that you would love us to go see in 2023, let us know in the comments down below.
Spoiler alert, I think we both definitely want to see Mario Brothers.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll have to figure out how that works since that's Easter weekend.
Mario. Mm-hmm.
But anyways,
so yeah, just go, comment on our social media, Facebook, Twitch, or Instagram and Twitter. Go check us out there and leave a comment down below where those are, and let us know what you would want us to watch that is coming out in 2023.
Also, if you are listening to this episode prior to February, prior to Valentine's Day, let's say, go to our Facebook page.
Yes.
And look for the poll that should be pinned to the top of the Facebook page to vote on which of the 4 movies we have listed there to be the first one for our Cellcast Rewind.
Rewind.
Because for those of you who don't remember, the first season is different from the rest.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Because until we got to, I think Nightmare Before Christmas is the last one we did in the old format.
Yeah.
But up until that one, we just had once we hit the review section, we had no more notes. We had no more format. It was like we got to there and that was it.
Yeah.
And then we just talked, sometimes for hours on end. And a lot of it had to be edited down.
A lot.
This was a problem pretty much up until I said, look, we need to make this a lot simpler on both of us.
Agreed.
I think we were we were still experimenting on ways to try and get the show under an hour.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
We never really was able to do that.
No, I think the shortest we ever did was probably like we've done
Angry Birds.
Under Angry Birds.
Angry Birds was the shortest one. It's because we hated that film.
That was not a good film. Like that was the shortest.
And that's not on our list of ones to do.
No, but
we have listed on there, just so everyone knows before you get there, Tangled, Summer Wars, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and Batman Beyond Return of the Joker.
Yes.
Go vote on which one of those four you want us to hear us review first. We will get to the others later, but we haven't really discussed when we'll do the others. But
yeah,
we are kind of doing it where going forward, starting in season 5, the last episode that we recorded of the month is either going to be a Cellcast rewind, where we'll go back and do one of the old shows, or it will be
Cellcast
Plus, which is a project we've gotten on and off the ground about 3 or 4 times now.
Yes. Over and over. Oh my gosh.
And I think we figured out a way to actually do it where we'll actually release episodes. I still have 2 episodes from the last time we did it I need to release. But
they've been locked behind a Patreon wall for way too long.
No, they never
did. They never got released. They never got released.
They're still on old Bessie over here.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, patrons, for that.
That's my fault. That is my fault completely.
It totally happens. It does.
But we are going to release those to you. So you can, to everybody, I should say that specifically, those 2 missing episodes, we're not using that as an excuse to skip weeks of recording. Though I kind of wish I hadn't just said that, because that would be a good way to pull that off. Now that
nice for blowing our cover.
Oh well. Anyway.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be interesting. Let's say that.
Yes,
because
but basically on the Cellcast Plus, what we're gonna do, if y'all don't remember, is we're gonna review live action films.
Yeah,
we don't know which ones yet. We have not thought ahead to March.
No, because the last movie we did, which was not released, was Wrath of Khan,
and then before that we had Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes,
we never released either of those episodes. Those are going to be released sometime in the next 2 months.
So if you're thinking about it in the what would that be, like January, February, March?
Yeah,
March. If you can think of a movie that's coming into theaters, or it's going to be on Netflix or whatever that's coming out, please let us know. We will highly consider your idea, and highly consider it. And we be like, heck, we might even choose the movie you chose. So
you never know.
You never know.
So that's just our way of letting y'all know what's coming up.
Yeah.
And of course, go check out the Untangling Kingdom Hearts thing. Also, for those of you who listen to the show and maybe y'all are getting ready to go through some of the animated series that we have reviewed, but you don't want to listen back through the entire episode, I am going to be working on separating those out to their own feed. They will still be part of the show, but I'm going to separate them out to where if you just want to go through just that section, you'll be able to go through and find those episodes easily.
Yeah.
So, you ready to move into the spoiler-free section?
Yes.
Of our reviews tonight?
Yes. So it's interesting reviews.
Certified fresh and spoiler-free.
First off, let's do a spoiler-free thing on my pet cat Lucy. I keep wanting to say pet, but it's my cat Lucy.
Yes.
Go watch it.
Yes, go watch it.
That's pretty much the thing.
It's 4 minutes.
No, it's not even that. It's like 2 minutes. This is actually I
thought it was longer than that, but either way.
The other one is like 4 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And this one is 2 minutes.
That's right.
I think. You know what? I can go double check because this is still in my watch later on YouTube. Because I hadn't gotten it out of there yet.
But yes, it is highly worth watching.
Oh yes, definitely go watch it. It's a fun little thing. Both of our video shorts tonight are student works.
Yes, they are student works.
So be aware of that. Yeah, my cat Lucy is 2 minutes and 16 seconds, including credits.
Yeah. Very good. Very highly worth watching. Is it really that scary?
No,
not really.
It's more comedic. There's a little bit of a horror element.
Yeah. And there are a lot of comedic moments in there. It's like, oh my gosh, that was clever.
the fact that it is 2 minutes might be its biggest downfall.
Mm.
But we'll get to that.
That
in a
is
bit.
true. I was personally, I was looking for more adventures of maybe Lucy and her the demonic fireball.
Yeah. The other one we're reviewing tonight is Poilus. It is 4 minutes and 39 seconds long. There is no voice actor in it. It is, so even though it is French, I believe, wherever Isart is. I think you should go watch that one too. This one though, maybe not let the kids watch.
Yeah, it's
a little darker,
a little dark, a little deep, but it's got a great message to it. But definitely for kids, it's more like, oh my gosh, you're gonna be explaining a lot if you're watching with the little kids.
Yes,
just fair warning.
Yeah, it is France because it's in Paris
and
Canada. There's one of these in Canada and Tokyo, which doesn't surprise me either. Anyway, so yeah, those are the two things we're reviewing, and pretty much that's all we can really say spoiler free because these are shorts.
They are short.
There's not much we can talk about without spoiling stuff.
Yeah, minus I spoiled the ending for My Cat Lucy. Sorry.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
We didn't. Well, I guess maybe in the intro we did.
Maybe.
Moving on.
Be like, it's a short.
Join us on the other side of the bumpers.
Yeah.
And we will get to spoiling this thing.
So even before be like the bumpers in, I guarantee you'll finish My Cat Lucy.
Both My Cat Lucy and Poilus, we will have the links for in the show notes. So if you want to pause now and go watch those right quick, and then keep listening to us again, we'll be on the other side of the bumpers probably right before you get back because you'll have. Well, we do want you to hear the commercials for our good friends and other things we want you to know about. But yeah, those are going to be in the show notes. So go check that.
This podcast is a proud member of Culture Box. Whether you enjoy geeky reviews, comedy, or original fiction, you can open up the Culture Box and find something excellent for your soul. Point your web browser to culturebox.media.
This week, we suggest checking out the Untold Podcast, which is a speculative fiction podcast using the genres of sci-fi, fantasy, and horror, among others, in order to engage the culture's imagination from a Christian worldview. Every month, Nathan James Norman produces and narrates a new story presented in a unique and dynamic way. Check out the Untold Podcast at theuntoldpodcast.com to listen and leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
The Cellcast would like to thank the following patrons: Josh Adams, Ashley Ruiz, Book of Gaming.
To get your name on the show, plus uncut episodes, early access to the Cellcast Plus reviews, and special art from Jacob, please donate to us on Patreon.
The following is a spoiler-filled review for the shorts My Cat Lucy and Poilus. Listener discretion is advised. Also, if I've mispronounced Poilus, if it's supposed to be pronounced differently, my apologies. I think that's going to be true most of the night.
Yes.
So, My Cat Lucy was written and directed by Kate Valiant. The cast was just Philip Lamont as Tucker. This is his only thing. There were no Kingdom Hearts connections.
All right, so for My Cat Lucy, as IMDb for 7.2 out of 10. Production direction by Kate Valiant.
I think it's Valiant, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, Valiant. Distributed, it's a student film. It was released on October 28th, 2022 at the Austin Film Festival. Apparently, it's won all the awards. That's about it.
Hang on. I believe it was created for the Ringling College of Art and Design. I just went and looked that up. So technically, they distributed it.
Oh, okay. Good deal.
Did not want to leave that out. Sorry. Didn't mean to.
Ow, my knee.
Mean to punch your knee.
Ow.
Moving on.
Hurt, abuse, ouch, help.
Help, he's being repressed. By me.
Help.
Let's get into the summary. Tucker condemns his cat Lucy for being a demon. She does appear to be possessed by a demon, but it was just a hairball. And there was no trivia for this, other than, this is speculation on my part, the cat being named Lucy might be short for Lucifer. But he was a cat on Cinderella.
Yeah. Lucifer.
Anyway, also in Kingdom Hearts. There's your Kingdom
Hearts connection.
Lucifer was in that, but that's loose at best. What's your first like?
Oh my gosh. Fantastic animation style. The style in which let me get her name right. Kate did in this short was absolutely phenomenal. It's very whimsical kind of style. It kind of harkens back maybe like the early 2000s kind of art style in a way, but more modernized. And when the demon comes out, it's like, oh my gosh, be like, it's got a little fright to it, but how it's animated, it's got more like this whimsical, it's
a horror comedy.
It's a horror comedy. There we go. Great description. It's a horror comedy, and it's done so well. And this little boy gets way over his head, and it's so funny that he just just the way it's animated, the way it flows, just so well done. And just props for this student film. It is so well done animation wise, and the styling of which it's done, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. That's why it's on my list. So yeah, that's my number one.
First thing I liked about this is that even though it's a 3D film, it uses heavy squash and stretch.
Yes, it does. That's what I also liked about it. I love that.
A great cartoony feel, which you don't normally get in 3D animation.
No, you don't.
Because the people who made the animation never thought of using squash and stretch when they were making stuff in the past. So yeah, I love this kind of a Looney Tunes-ish kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Which is not why I'm wearing this shirt.
No,
I am wearing a Looney Tunes shirt for you audio listeners. But
you're welcome.
Yeah, it just has a nice cartoonish quality that even though it has this bit of a, like you say, a scary bit of it, there's a horror element.
Oh yeah,
to this. It never feels like it's like scary.
No, yeah.
It's kind of scary. Kids would be scared by this, I think. But for someone like me, it's like, okay, yeah, that's just kind of fun. It's kind of got that horror-esque thing, especially when the cat eyes go really thin.
Yeah.
That's great. And the fact that the little hairball at the end that apparently contained the demon core had eyes.
Yes.
And it was the cat's eyes. And the part I really like the most is during the transformation, as the cat gets bigger and bigger, at the very top you can see its ears just pop out.
Yeah, that was just such a good touch.
Oh, that's just nice. And it goes from being this cute little kitten and in the small form to when the full transformation, it's big, huge, grown-up cat with a forked trident as a tongue. Literally forked tongue.
Forked tongue, yes.
And yeah, it's just a funny little thing. The comedy, I think, is spot on. This will lead into one of my dislikes, but we will get to there when we get there.
Okay.
What's your next like?
Mine is I'm just gonna say this because I am a dog person, true to my heart.
You hated it because it was a cat.
No. Like my second like is I knew they were evil. Laugh out loud. The ending. The ending to this is so well done.
The cat was not evil.
I know, it was the hairball.
It was the hairball.
Exactly. That's why I loved it.
It brought out the worst in Lucy.
Yes, exactly. And oh my gosh, the point where the boy is pointing out things that the cat has done, which a cat normally does anyway. Be like
the things he points out, it's like and you do this thing, and it's all the normal stuff you see cats do, but he's describing it like it's like witchcraft. And you're just fine with it. And then you attended that meeting at the end of the cul-de-sac. It's like,
it's like, wow. Like, whoa, wait a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, and like
maybe you got something to go on here.
But... Maybe. But how this ends is, if you haven't seen it already, like in between the bumpers, be like, it's where be like the boy, he distracts the demon cat for a moment with the door stopper.
Yes, which I've seen cats do.
Oh yeah, it is hilarious.
By that.
Oh yeah, I've seen dogs do it. It's hilarious.
It's a weird. I've done it. When I was 4 years old, I got distracted.
Well, I think we all did it.
Door stopper thing,
of course. But be like, he finally gets the cat distracted by the door stopper, and he pulls out his holy water and sprays the cat with
a squirt gun.
And a squirt gun.
Bad kitty.
But like the cat shrinks down to a little cute little kitty and hawks up a hairball, and that's the demon. And I was like, oh, that is clever. And then they walk away, and the little demon's eyes pop open. I'm like, oh, that's a good cliffhanger. Can we get another? Just saying.
So yeah, my second kind of bouncing off that is that this is just a great little horror comedy.
It is.
It's so just a fun little thing. It's not trying to say anything. It's just, let's just have a little bit of fun here with, black cats being evil. Black cats aren't evil, despite what Jacob says. I don't think Jacob even thinks black cats.
No, I don't think
he's just being funny.
I've met plenty of black cats. Who are just the coolest cat ever.
In fact, black cats are the ones that really need adoption the most, and they're very particular about them because they're afraid people are going to do horrible things to black cats because of the unfortunate connotation they have with witchcraft.
Very true. So
putting all that out there.
Yeah, very true. So a little side story before you continue. So when I was born, my parents had a black cat named Scudder. He was a minx. And so as I was growing up, as my younger brother was born, and so we lived on 9 acres. So apparently Scudder didn't like it so much. So Scudder would, every once in a while, we would go outside and we'd follow Scudder into the woods. Scudder was trying to get us lost.
Yeah. If Scudder didn't like you, he probably was trying to get you lost.
And plus, I was watching Rocky.
You took away his happy life by being born, because he used to be spoiled rotten. I bet.
Oh yes.
Even if you wouldn't consider it spoiled rotten from his point of view. Oh he was spoiled rotten.
He was spoiled rotten, and I totally get it.
Being around took away the attention he used to get. So of course he hated you.
That's true. And plus, I did box him in a corner one day.
That would do it too.
When I was 3.
That would do it too.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I love that cat. It was such cool. And definitely, yeah. Either or. Side story over about my childhood cat. Either or.
So yeah, this is what I like about this is every cat owner knows what's going on.
Yeah.
Granted, none of us have, at least I assume none of us have, seen our cats grow into giant monstrosities that fill the room and try to attack us with their literal forked tongue. They just attack us with their teeth because they think we're playing with them.
Yeah. It's their hunter instinct coming.
Yeah, that's all it is. But all the little things about the cat just doing all this weird stuff, except for going down to the meeting at the witches in the cul-de-sac. Can't say I've ever seen a cat actually do that, especially wearing the little robe. But everything else is like you're watching this and going, yeah, these are just this is like natural cat things. You're overreacting, kid.
Of course.
3, 2, 1. Oh, you're not overreacting.
It's actually a demon cat.
It is actually a demon cat. Okay, how you gonna get away with this? Oh, you distract them with the door stopper because every cat will be distracted by that probably. The only other thing you could have done to distract them is if you happen to have had a laser pointer or a feather thing.
Oh my gosh, yes.
If you had one of those, you could have distracted them that way too. Granted, the door stopper is easier to animate probably. Yeah. Especially in the amount of time they had.
And definitely how it's done.
Yeah, and they distracted them long enough he could go over and get a super soaker full of holy water that somehow causes the cat to shrink because like holy water. Yeah. Anyway. and that is how you train cats that what they're doing is wrong. You spray them with water.
Yeah.
Because cats hate water.
Yeah. Some of them.
They don't hate water. Yeah. Maine Coons actually love water. I won't work with them. But a lot of cats just don't like getting wet, as you well know.
Yeah.
The only other funny thing would be is if the cat didn't start transforming until it like lapped from a bowl of milk, since technically cats are lactose intolerant once they're of age. Technically they are.
Really?
They will still drink milk because of the kitten instinct, but they technically are lactose intolerant. So you shouldn't do it all the time.
Huh.
Granted, adult cats are like this. Kittens, you can let them have milk.
Yeah. It's kind of a thing.
They will be fine. I admittedly, the last couple cats I had, when I got done eating a bowl of ice cream and you have the little melty bits that, most people would just drink that.
Yeah.
Set it on the floor for the cat.
Of course.
And the cat would just lap that up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we put him out for the night, so we never heard the cat farts. Anyway. Just saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, My Cat Lucy. It's a great little short. This is my that's going to be the end of my likes. What's your first dislike?
My first dislike, there's no sequel.
It's a student thing.
I know,
the chances of there ever being a sequel are nil.
But it was made last year. You never know.
They could have graduated.
Yeah. And someone might want to say, like, I want a sequel to that. Can we make that?
You'd have to then get the rights from the college.
That is true. And the creator.
Well, one assumes the creator's working on it.
Yeah.
So those rights kind of would go hand in hand.
That is true.
But the college technically also owns the rights to the thing since they distributed it.
That is true.
So,
but also George Lucas did his THX
1138, but that's
that was a student film.
Yes, but he remade that with the script he wrote. The script he wrote was not owned by the college, I don't think, just the film.
Oh, okay.
Either way, they got the student film later on to put on the DVD. Anywho,
but my main gripe is there's no sequel. You see what this little demon hairball does next, or at least what Lucy does, because Lucy's just a cute little kitten,
right?
But that's my only gripe. I find this very adorable, very cute. It's got this very cute comedy horror vibe, which I dig, and I love that. It's great. Which I'll probably show to people because that is just such a good little short. There again, links down below. Go, watch it. Do you have any dislikes?
I have one dislike.
Okay.
I wish there had been more build up to the transformation. I really feel this short needs another 2 minutes. So you can get a little bit more build up to, and a little more, wondering, is the cat a demon? Is it not? A little bit more of that. And so you could do a lot more things, with the kid messing with the cat, maybe have him as he's continuing to
test the cat,
give allegations against the cat or to test the cat. He's doing stuff and the kitten's just playing with him, that would be cute and fun. And we'll go, okay, this thing's in the demon until the actual transformation starts.
Yeah.
And then I want more once the transformation is finished of him trying to get away and survive against this big giant kaiju cat. I want more of that kind of stuff, because that's my biggest issue, is that this thing, because it's only 2 minutes long, is just boom, 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 boom. There's like no room to breathe.
Yeah.
No room to think. It's like it starts and it's like about the time, just as soon as he makes the allegation about, meeting with the witches at the cul-de-sac, he then just starts transforming.
Yeah.
And it's like, boom, right there. It's like, you're not even 15 seconds, maybe 30 seconds into the short when that part happens. I just wish there was a little more build up and a little more stuff during the climax. Granted, that would have taken a lot more time to animate, but it would have been nice just to sort of, and plus I would not also be surprised if maybe the assignment for this did specify an amount of time and it might have been 2 minutes. So I don't know. I thought it's a good little short, but I just wish we had just a little bit more time to breathe and let it really grow to a full thing instead of it feeling like it's starting and then you don't have room to breathe until the credits end. So anyway,
yeah, I would agree. I would agree if maybe like a company would, use the lights, kind of like how George Lucas did with his student film, is grant this creator a opportunity to expand their story, which I think would be great. Be like you could do it as maybe like a TV movie or something like that. You can make it into a longer short and just expand it, make it funner, and make it more out there. But yeah, that's what I think. Be like, I think that would be I think it would be a great idea. So if a studio wants to go in and be like, collab with this creator and create something like that, would be fantastic. But yeah, I completely agree that if the story was expanded a little bit more, understanding it is a student film, and Kate did an amazing job.
Yes,
with this,
it's good. It's just to levy a constructive bit of criticism, which is all this is. I just wish it was longer. Just give us a little bit more lead up and payoff.
Yeah, agreed.
So why don't we go ahead? Do you have another dislike?
No.
Do we want to go ahead and rate this now before we go into the second short?
I would say rate it now.
Okay. I'm giving it an 8.
An 8. Okay.
It's nearly perfect.
Yeah.
I just wish we had a little bit more, and I don't know, because it's only 2 minutes long and there's not a lot of story, not that it needed much. And I just, like I said, I just wish it was longer because I feel like a lot of stuff got affected poorly because of the length of what they were doing. A little bit of rush to it.
I'm going to give this film a little more love. I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay.
Because I really enjoyed the animation style of this movie and just the direction it goes, even though it's like 2 minutes. It's a 2-minute short, but it's just like executes everything in be like, I wish things could have been expanded. If a studio wants to do that, let's do that. But be like, for what it is, its length and its direction, I think it's done very well. So I'm giving it a 9.
All righty. So let's jump into the next short. Poilus. Once again, if I've mispronounced that, I apologize. This was directed by also a bunch of names I'm probably about to mispronounce, and I apologize. I say directed because that's how it's listed on IMDb. Kind of what I got was this is the creative team behind this and did all of it. Guillaume Auberval, Leah Dozul, Simon Gomez, Timothy Heck, Hugo Lagrange, Antoine Leroyer, and David Lashkari. And if I mispronounced any of your names, I apologize. Yeah, there is, of course, no Kingdom Hearts connections. And this is the only things any of them have done. I did check every single name. What's your there, because they're still new, folks. What do you got in info and stuff?
All right. Info and stuff, IMDb, it has a 6.2 out of 10. Production was Isart Digital. Distributed because it's a film, it's a student film. It was released on September 14th, 2016 in France. And this is another one's got a bunch of awards behind it. So that's one of the, I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then you realize, oh, this thing is acclaimed. It's like, nice. So yeah, that's all I got for info and stuff.
I just had a realization. All the movies, all the shorts that we picked for this month, you actually went and picked student films that were recognized and are highly regarded as art.
Yep.
And I picked 4 Flash videos.
Well, I did pick one that isn't.
I do think they're art. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I just realized you put a lot of thought into this in love of up and coming animators, and I did something for 20 years ago back when Flash animation was still new.
Oh my gosh.
So you went modern, I went historical.
Exactly.
That's my excuse.
There we go. And plus, the one we're doing next week came out, I think, either late last year or early this year, or no, late last year, which is a really good. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's really well done, and it's Dragon Ball related.
Yeah.
But it is a follow Dragon Ball, but it's so good.
It's related.
But it's
Anyway.
a passion project for this guy and his team. So yeah, that's the reason I put it on there.
Anyway, summary for Poilus.
Yeah.
A young hare, Ferdinand, is playing the harmonica before the battle. Soon the signal for attack will be given, and Ferdinand will face the terrible enemy on the battlefield. There's no trivia for this other than it's World War One. Though I will go ahead and bring this up, even though I'm going to bring it up later. This being World War One, there's a hymn, at least I think of it as a hymn primarily, that he plays on the harmonica.
Yeah.
Did you catch what it was?
I'm not sure what it was.
Surprising, because we sang it in the Christmas show, if you didn't recognize it, but Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee.
Oh, that makes sense.
But here's the thing. You know anything about that song?
No, I don't.
I did some research. Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee is a poem set to the lyrics of Ode to Joy by Beethoven.
Oh, okay.
It was written in like 1907.
Oh, okay.
It had not had a chance to, I think, to spread this far, because Joyful, Joyful was written by an American.
That makes sense, because America didn't get into the war until 19...
Just a fun little fact. I know what they're going for in that scene, and we'll get to that in a minute because that's in my likes.
1960.
If it's all right, I'll jump into my likes.
Go for it.
I like the idea of Ode to Joy being snuffed out with a bullet.
Oh, that's a good one.
This is a good dark thing. Dark thing, and it's just not. It's the idea of like this one rabbit is after he just did something incredibly horrible without realizing it. Is in a way asking for redemption by playing this song on his harmonica.
Yeah,
because I get it's actually supposed to probably be Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee.
Yeah,
except it's had to have been Ode to Joy if it was World War One, because probably the song may not have made it over there. Anyway, I'm also guesstimating because I don't know how fast the song traveled.
Yeah,
but gets kicked out because senseless war.
Yeah,
because this is obviously also an anti-war thing. Short.
Yeah,
that is obviously what they're going for.
Agreed.
Because we don't even. I don't think we even see the enemy.
No, we see.
Well, we see something.
The victim of his
we see the victim. That's the thing. Are they the enemy?
Yeah.
That we'll get to that. But yeah, I love that quick visual image of it's it's rising. You can hear that do 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 played on the harmonica, and all of a sudden, boom, and the war starts again.
Yeah, it continues.
It's a vicious cycle.
Agreed.
Or spiral, as I brought up in Bible study last night.
That is true.
Anywho, I thought that was, as much as I detest the action of the character, I liked artistically what it was getting off there by having that shot hit right there. So yeah,
that's be like it's my first like in this movie. It reminds me so much of what happened in World War One. I'm sorry. So during the first year of World War One was 1914, and they were in the middle of the trenches, and Christmas was coming up. So this is heavily documented.
I figured you were about to talk about the Christmas truce.
The Christmas truce, Bale Wood, the whole bunch. So this reminded me of that. So you had commanders were told you be like you can't stand down, you can't do nothing, and Christmas coming along, and these people were like longing to do something different, and all you hear is one point where it's a song.
They start singing Silent Night.
They sing Silent Night,
but it starts in the German camp.
Yes,
the Germans start singing it in German, and then the British started singing along with them from the other side. And that just killed any thought of their day, any of them fighting each other, because in that moment they found brotherhood.
Oh yeah.
Now they still, at the end of the day, at the end of Christmas, had to return to each other's side and continue the fight. But
yes, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
Sorry, didn't mean to.
No.
Cut you short there, but that is an amazing story.
It is an amazing story, and be like, if you want to go watch documentaries over it, go for it. It's so well done, because there again, I'm a history nut. I love this kind of stuff. And actually, the only reason I heard about this was actually a Garth Brooks song. And being a Garth Brooks fan,
I guess he's good for something.
I guess. Hey, kid.
I have to get my needles in just like you get your needles in.
Okay, gotcha. Hush.
Dylan, quit texting him on his watch.
Yeah, thanks. You already got the ears. Don't go.
Actually, admittedly, it does look like they're getting shorter.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll be done with this before X-Men.
Hopefully. Oh, I can't wait for that one. But so be like, this was a very monumental moment in history where be like people laid down their arms to celebrate Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that so incredibly moving and touching. In this, they kind of, because you have this lone hare who is just trying to drown out the world, drown out what's going on, and force the fight. And he gets lost in no man's land. He winds up shooting the enemy, and he just winds up.
Or is it?
Or is it no man's land? We don't know.
Well, it is no man's land. We don't know if he shot the enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got this beautiful moment where be like our main character be like realizes what he done, and he sees that he thinks he did. Like he's the other character, the victim of the soldier has a harmonica, and he wants to like you said, kind of repent of what he did.
Repent, and that soldier may still be somewhat alive.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe serenading him off to meet his maker, and he follows right behind him.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, it's just like it's.
Sorry, I keep interrupting.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm actually looking up something while I'm trying to figure something out. But this, be like, it's so well done. It's just like this moment where everything stops and the war continues. So there's a quote that I absolutely love, and I want to get to it real fast. And so I'll get to it in just a minute. So just give me a moment.
Well, while you're looking that up, let me go ahead and hit my next like.
Go for it.
I like how it shows the horrors of war.
Yeah, agreed.
Because here's the thing. It's showing him having to run out into no man's land.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know if he's going to survive. Probably isn't going to survive. It's probably because you don't really hear much of him coming back from that.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets hit with, I don't know if it was a bomb or something, but he gets hit with that. And all of a sudden it's like he's in, I'm not going to say hell.
Yeah.
But he's in a nightmare world. Almost,
yeah, agreed.
To some degree. And he's running through there. There's this giant, it looks like a giant monster with a gas mask chasing him. And admittedly, those gas masks do make people look like monsters.
Yeah.
Of that era. The gas masks of that era.
Yeah.
So I understand, why that would scare the living daylights out of him. And just because he was trying to protect himself from this big, horrible, scary thing that was going to kill him, he ends up shooting somebody. And I keep saying somebody because when we get to my dislikes, we'll get there. But I mean, I am not sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, if he killed an enemy who happened to have a harmonica, or if that was a friend, because we never see who the enemy was besides maybe that one character.
And
I think I'd have to go back and look, but I think they were wearing virtually the same uniform, which is what.
Yeah, it was gray and blue.
Yeah, just like his.
Yeah.
So was it the enemy who just happened to have the same color uniform? We don't know.
Don't know. Yeah. So
but we'll get to that when I get to this.
So the song I'm referring to is called Bellerwood. It's the very end of Garth Brooks' 7 album, which came out in 1997 or 1997, and this is like a very snippet of the song. Then I thought that I was dreaming, for right there in my sight stood a German soldier neath the fallen flakes of white, and he raised his hand and smiled at me. I always get choked up listening to this one. It's always great. Where was I? And he raised his hand and smiled at me, as if he seemed to say, "Here's hoping we both see us find a better way." Then the devil's hand clock struck midnight, and the skies lit up again, and the battlefield where heaven stood was blown to hell again. But for that that one fleeting moment, the answer seems so clear. Heaven is not beyond the clouds, just beyond the fear. Now, it's not referring to like, heavenly, God is, but it's more be like the idea of like, peace is just around the corner. And it's just that moment of where things are great, and be like, and then it just goes to hell. But it's just that, it's just beyond the fear. And I just, there again, I'm getting choked up talking about it.
Right.
But like, yeah, I love that part of that song, and it just like, it hits me every time I hear it. But yeah, I just thought I would love to share that with you guys. And it's very fitting for this short, because like war is brutal. It has to be. And but with that idea, this character wants to condone for his sins by trying to play the harmonica, and he's simply just mowed down, because war is senseless in some ways. It's necessary, but it's cruel and unfair. But yeah, it's what it is. But yeah, I found that very touching. I found it very moving. And so to get into my second like of this short,
yes,
it is gloriously disturbing. Kind of like how I said with the historical background with that, and how it's just the senseless brutality of it. It is just beautiful. It's beautifully animated. It's just so somber, and how we would think the trenches of World War I in Europe would have been. It was a hellscape, and how it's animated, how it's lit, and it's so well done, and it's beautiful. Like I said, beautifully disturbing, and it's so well done. And I watched it the first time. I'm just like, okay, that hit me hard. And I think it's just if we there again, we live in a fallen, broken world that is corrupted by sin. And that Jesus came to save us from our sins, and yet we still try to destroy each other. And I'm not saying be like kumbaya and we all need to live in harmony. It's never going to happen. But if we just actually sit down and talk to each other about things and what's going on, instead of railroading each other and wanting to point the finger and hating each other, we might get along for once. Just saying. Because Jesus even said, "Love your neighbor," and that's not just that's not just Drew. It's like the person across no man's land.
Everyone's your neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it's very touching, very poetic of what the short is. So yeah, go watch it. It's so good.
But as much as we liked it, we got to talk dislikes.
Yes, we do.
And I'll go ahead and get the one I kind of already have talked about a little bit out of the way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the other rabbit he killed was an enemy or a friend.
Yeah.
That is on purpose, I'll admit.
Yeah.
Because the whole point is showing how senseless and useless war is.
Agreed.
Except I think both of us agree that there are times when war is necessary.
Yes. Agreed.
But in the moment, it can very much feel like you're just fighting other people who just see the world only slightly differently than you do, maybe. At
Agreed.
Most.
Agreed.
So, I mean, because like I said, you can see this go in one of two ways. Either A, he killed one of the enemy soldiers from the other side, and that he happened to have a harmonica too, just like he had before the stupid generals, just stepped on it in the mud because he was too busy playing with that instead of going out and doing his job.
Yeah.
Or another one of his friends saw that what the general did to the harmonica, picked it up, cleaned it off, and was running it back out there to him.
Possibly.
You can go either way with this.
Yeah,
and it doesn't change the fact that in that moment, when he was a frightened little rabbit, he shot the guy because he thought it was a monster coming to attack him.
Of course.
Or at least that's what we see from his point of view. He didn't know. You get right down to it, he did not know. And he ended up killing him. And so I don't know whether it's powerful that we never saw the enemy, or if we did see the enemy and it was this one rabbit, because we never got to see who they were fighting. Granted, World War I, I'm assuming these are French rabbits because they kind of look like they're French rabbits. So they would be fighting Germans probably. I'm guessing. But we never got to see. So, and you really couldn't make out what the other uniform. You couldn't make out a difference between uniforms. So
I'm actually looking at the clip right now, and it looks like our main character, he's wearing like a light blue coat.
That would at least be a different color. So.
Yeah, because the quote unquote enemy is wearing like a light gray. So there's distinguishing between the characters. Now, granted, they all look like the same hair.
Well, that may be part of the point.
Yeah,
but since he is wearing a different uniform, we'll go with the probably the more obvious one, that the rabbit is the enemy.
Yeah,
was the enemy soldier that he ended up killing, and then found out that the enemy he just shot was just like him.
Yeah, agreed.
And don't get me wrong, I love what the message there is and how they got it across.
Oh yeah.
But the fact is, this is the only enemy we see. It doesn't feel like much of a battle, unfortunately. Granted, you feel the horror of war from this one character's point of view.
Oh yeah.
But it's not much of a battle when you only get to see one enemy.
True. That is true. But also you're dealing with limitations when
and I am nitpicking.
Of course.
I am very much nitpicking.
Yeah, very much. I would agree with you on that. That be like if there was more, we could see more of the enemy. Because there again, that probably wouldn't like cost that much to do that. But there again, we are dealing with restrictions and it's a student film. Be like you're trying to get your point across as your very gut punch point across. Yeah, I totally get that. I do. I completely get that.
Okay.
My dislikes. I don't know if I have any.
I have one more.
Okay.
And I think this might be more of a nitpick also. But I really think it should have ended with the bullet. Because there is like one other, right after the bullet hits, you do hear the whistle again. And it shows, I don't know if it's the same scene, like they just took the same march from earlier and just redid it again.
Yeah.
Or if they reanimated it, but it's virtually the same thing. It's like, that's not really necessary because we kind of get the idea that the war continues after that.
Yeah.
I don't know if we necessarily need to see, the other rabbits going out towards going back out into no man's land again.
Yeah.
I really think it would have been just a little more powerful if that shot where you hear the gun go off, and obviously the screen goes to black when the bullet hits. That's what it's the idea you're supposed to get, and then go straight into the credits. I think that would have been just a little more powerful. Bringing in that other scene with the rabbits coming back up out of the trenches really just feels like, okay, we get it. You hate war. you kind of pushing the war the war is evil angle a little too hard. Granted, war is evil.
Yeah.
The fact that we have to fight other people is an evil because this is a fallen world. Yes. And there are times when we are called to have to fight like that. But I think it would have just been a little more powerful if you got that one. It just ended at the bullet and didn't have those two extra seconds of footage that they put in there. I just think that was just a little too much.
Okay. I would disagree.
Also a nitpick.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. I mean, like I disagree with your nitpick because I think it shows more of the it continues. It continues. Be like it's a continuous cycle. And I love it for that. I love that. I love that idea that
it doesn't force the cycle.
No,
it's part of it. It's just in my mind, it's like I think to some degree it would have affected me just a little bit more if you had the bullet and then you had credits and you go, wow. And instead you get bullet, black, fade to cut to black. You hear the whistle go off and you see the rabbits coming out of the trenches charging again. And it's like, I don't know. That's just not as powerful for me.
I agree with that. For me personally, I think it shows that war is never ending. It never ends, even with what just happened. It has to continue.
Are you saying that war never changes?
Exactly.
To quote from the Fallout series of video games.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You said that. I go, oh, war never changes. Straight to that stupid video game.
Yeah, war doesn't stop for the dead.
That stupid video game where I had fun shooting forks at mutants. Plastic forks at mutants.
Plastic forks at mutants.
Somehow it take them out because of how accelerated the trash gun was.
Interesting. But yeah, I really love that they recycle that animation to tell that war does not stop for the dead. It does not stop for anything else. It's just
not till the peace treaty is signed.
Versailles. Let's just not go there.
Well, let's just say there have been plenty of times where the peace treaty was signed and the war continued.
That is true. Like World War I actually did continue for like a couple of months after Versailles.
Yeah.
So did World War II and Vietnam and Korea.
Well, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong here. Wasn't there a Japanese soldier they found in like 1980 who was still fighting the war?
Yeah, and on a lone island. Yeah.
So for him, the war never stopped.
I think it was like 1978.
I couldn't remember the exact year. I just remember it was
they found him, and it's like he's ready to kill, and it's just like whoa. Be like, you realize what? Be like, war's over. It's been over for years.
Over for a long time.
But it's that dedication to at that time emperor and country.
Yeah,
and it's like, yo, you don't stop.
Anyway,
yeah.
Let's go ahead and rate this one. I'm giving it an 8.5.
Oh, okay.
It was very powerful. The animation was very well done. I think I failed to mention this, but it does kind of have a little bit of a stop motion feel while it is still computer animated.
It does in a way,
but it's a very subtle stop motion feel to it. It's got great animation. It's got a great message and a very well told message.
Very well.
That's the thing. Even if I disagree with your message, if you can tell it good, I'll give you props.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I'm not a big fan of war, even though I agree it's necessary sometimes. And this just shows how horrible war can be.
Yeah.
And I think that's something people need to remember, because how much horrible is a war when the people who aren't having to fight are the ones that keep telling you have to go fight it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. That also points out a good point where definitely when it's like World War I in general, generals were the ones who were sitting comfortably behind the lines and just send people out. Just you get slaughtered. And that was one of the numerous things terrible about World War I. But my ratings would be a 9, just like I did for my cat Lucy. It's done so well. I love it's 4 minutes of pure animation gold. It's worth watching, and it tells this very, very powerful, very, very sad, depressing story. But it's one of those that it's trying to get across, and I love that for this. So it's a 9 for me.
All right. And that brings us to the end of the shorts reviews. Next week, we are going to be reviewing, if I can bring it up, Legend, a Dragon Ball Tale, and Pharaoh. I know the Legend of Dragon Ball Tale. I know what that is.
Yeah.
What's Pharaoh?
Pharaoh is an Egyptian
I know he's an
Egyptian princess who is crowned Pharaoh, and it's her how do you describe that? It's her like having to fulfill her role as Pharaoh, but she's struggling against it.
Right.
Yeah, and it's done very well.
Okay.
Yeah, again, another student film.
So we'll be reviewing those next week, but for now, we need to jump into the first episodes of X-Men, the animated series.
Previously on X-Men.
Meet a sulky, over-bulky, kinda hulky superhero. A two-fisted and electrically transistored superhero. An exotically erotic and aquatic superhero. The Marvel superheroes have arrived. X-Men, X-Men, it's the day, X-Men, X-Men, come and go.
Spider-Man and his amazing friends, Iceman and Firestar.
All right.
Bravo, by the way.
I tried.
I'm so thankful he showed me, he proved it for me, because I would have been laughing my head off. I was trying not to laugh.
Especially during the Marvel superheroes have arrived.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh.
I didn't know that existed prior to Tuesday.
Me either. I mean, I'd heard of it. I'd never heard the intro.
I'd never heard the intro. So I was like, what's this YouTube? Who knows what's out there? I mean, you find weird stuff everywhere. And admittedly, the video that I got that audio from, it is aged badly. Mm-hmm. It is like purple.
Wow.
The film is not in good shape.
Oh my gosh. And then you brought up Pride of the X-Men. It was like, oh my, yeah, you have to
bring up Pride of the X-Men. We're gonna have to review that probably near the end of the series too.
Yes.
But
yeah,
and of course X-Men Evolution and Wolverine and the X-Men.
Yes.
I did those. And then just randomly, I was trying to do mostly things that X-Men appeared in.
Yeah.
So of course I had to do Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Yeah. Iceman and Firestar.
Yeah, because technically Firestar was an original character for that show.
Yes, but she was considered an X-Man.
True.
In that she was a mutant.
Yeah.
So that counts. And then what are the other ones in there? X-Men Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just barely make out Wolverine during the Wolverine and the X-Men segment because it's like it's
Steve Bloom. You can hear him.
It's Steve Bloom, and unfortunately, there's the music to that theme song is not that memorable.
Yeah,
but I got just some Wolverine in there. So, and then what else was in there? Of course, this Marvel superhero squad. And that's only added because I listened to that ending 3 times without that. It's like, I need something. I need something with lyrics because it really just feels weird going from Wolverine grunting to the X-Men theme song. I need something. And I just looked through the list of cartoons the X-Men had been in.
Mm-hmm.
My choices were the X-Men anime, which I didn't look that one up because I figured that was probably going to be more, if it had intros, it was all going to be instrumental probably.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, let's just hear what this Marvel superhero squad thinks. I never watched this show.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like it was, Adventure Time. Not Adventure Time specifically.
It's a little kid show.
It's a little kid show. It's based on toys.
Yes.
Well, not toy. Yeah, it's based on a toy line.
Yeah.
That's just the only reason they were able to use all the characters they could, because technically it was the toy line that was licensed, not the characters.
Yeah.
But because the characters were in the toy line, it counted. That's why you got to have so many characters in there.
Yes.
And supposedly it's a very well-written show. I wouldn't know. I still haven't watched it.
Yeah.
But I watched that opening. It's like, this is kind of a fun song. I waited till we got to the part where it did mention Wolverine. I know it was fast and you probably didn't hear him say Wolverine, but he's in there. Anyway.
Yeah.
And of course, Ron Wasserman's X-Men theme.
Yes.
At the end.
Which is all done on a keyboard.
Yes, because he couldn't play guitar. He still can't play guitar. If you don't know what we're talking about, Ron Wasserman, along with doing this theme song and doing a lot of the music that's in this, he's most famous probably for doing the music for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
He is.
And our good friends over at the Power Trip podcast got to interview him.
Really?
Yes.
I saw that. Yeah.
Go listen to that episode because it's actually a great interview. And he does mention, he's like, yeah, I can't play guitar. I have to play it on keyboard, which was really fun when we got ready to do the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. And not Sting, one of those great guitar players who had to play, saying, I think I figured it out. Show me how you played it.
Like you couldn't tell that was on a key.
You can't tell. You really can't tell. And so he's like, "Well, here's how I played it." And he turns around to his keyboard and he goes,
Da, 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 da.
"Oh, not that one, but the Mighty Morphin one."
Oh yeah.
Da, 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 da.
It's like, what?
Like, you're gonna hate this. Night of the Sentinels. I am including both of these episodes as one episode because and this is probably the only one we're doing like this because this was the only one that aired as an hour-long episode and then was cut up into 2 episodes later.
Yeah.
Not much cutting was done, just enough they could throw the theme song in again. But when we get to the other multi-part ones, we will do each of those separately because that's why we did Tangled the series.
Yeah.
Where all the 2-parters were we reviewed as one episode, and that's because they were originally shown as one episode.
Exactly.
We couldn't watch it that way, but anyway,
it originally aired that way.
So, Night of the Sentinels. All episodes of the X-Men are credited as being directed by Larry Houston, but actually, if you read the credits, he's a line producer.
Really?
Yes, because otherwise, there's no director on any of these.
Really?
Yeah. That was the only director I could find, and Wikipedia is the one that listed him as a director. IMDb did not list him as anything. The X-Men animated series wiki did not list him. I only found that on Wikipedia. It's like, well, that's a director. I'm going with it. He was line producer, so he was pretty much doing at least the directing for the actors. Maybe not the animation, but at least for the actors. So this episode was written. Both these episodes were written by Mark Edward Edens. In this episode, a young teenager has been rejecting her mutant powers ever since she discovered them. But when giant robots track her down, it's up to the X-Men to save her. After breaking into the headquarters of a newly discovered government branch called the Mutant Control Agency, the X-Men lose 2 of their own members in a battle with the Sentinels. Getting into the cast. Since this is the first time we've talked about any of these cast members, I'm going to talk about all of them.
All right, so when did this show come out?
92.
92, okay.
I didn't mention that, I guess. But anyway.
Yeah.
I guess I did quit mentioning when these things were coming out because of Star Trek Lower Decks because it's like they just came out last week.
Yeah, this came out in 1992.
This was
on Fox Kids.
Yes, which was being run at the time by Saban Entertainment. So yes, this is a Saban television show
with Marvel Studios. Not the Marvel Studios we know now.
Well, except here's the thing. The show was created by Fox Kids and they sold it to Marvel.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm bringing up the actual date of when these aired. Hang on.
Da-dum-dum.
Why did it bring me to the League of Legends wiki?
Something is wrong with your iPad.
I think Rise of the Sentinels was actually something there because I didn't put the word X-Men in front of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll make sense. Yeah, because I remember watching this show as a kid. Like if you're a kid from the 90s, I'm like, boy, girl, whatever.
This was one of the shows you watched.
And you actually hear Wolverine as Canadian instead of Australian. And then that's ironic because Hugh Jackman, because it's Wolverine in the movies.
Right.
Which again, we're gonna have to do the failed pilot for
at some point.
Rise of our Pride of the X-Men, which is actually funny. It's good, but it's funny.
If you want to hear some people talk about that before we get to it, though, Bottom Shelf did a kind of a side episode based on that. So
really,
you'll check out that while you're waiting on it, while waiting on us to get to it.
Right. Maybe.
October 31st, 1992.
Excellent.
Although for some reason it does say episode 2 was November 7th, 1992. So maybe they played them separate. They played it the same on the first night.
Yeah.
First time they showed it.
Yeah.
So maybe they showed it again separated on
probably.
In either way.
Yeah.
Either way. X-Men the Animated Series. First person on the cast list. Cedric Smith as Charles Xavier and of course Professor X. Norm Spencer as Scott Summers, Cyclops. Cal Dodd as Logan Wolverine.
bub.
And also in the second episode, he played the pool thug.
That makes sense. I heard him. Yeah.
Iona Morris as Aurora Monroe,
Hmm.
aka Storm. Catherine Disher as Jean Grey. George Buza as Hank McCoy, Beast. Lenore Zahn as Rogue. Chris Potter as Remy LeBeau, aka Gambit.
Gambit.
Yes, Gambit. Allison Court as Jubilation Lee, aka Jubilee. Ron Rubin as Morph.
Oh gosh, Morph.
Len Carlson as Robert Kelly and Jubilee's foster father.
Mm-hmm.
Don Franks as Graydon Creed Sr., aka Sabretooth.
Mm-hmm.
Barry Flatman as Henry Peter Garrick.
Mm-hmm. Garrick.
David Fox as the Sentinel. And an unknown actress playing Martha, Jubilee's foster mother, and the unnamed female president.
Oh, interesting.
We have no idea who that actress is.
Oh, wow. If anybody knows, please let us know.
And I think I just realized I left off. No, I brought both of them up. Yeah, I brought both of them up. I was thinking I left off. No, because I didn't bring up Trask.
No, you didn't bring up Trask.
Bring up Trask. I missed him somehow. Brett Halsley plays Bolivar Trask.
Oh, okay.
All right. Getting into the trivia for this episode. Part 1 are the debut episodes for Cyclops, Wolverine, Storm, Rogue, Beast, Jubilee, Gambit, Jean Grey, Professor X, Robert Kelly, Morph, Henry Garrick, and the Sentinels. Part 2 is the debut episode for Bolivar Trask.
Mm-hmm.
The creation of the show has the creators of the show have altered the way Jubilee joined the X-Men. In the comic books, Jubilee met Dazzler, Storm, and Rogue in a shopping mall. In the issue, she made her way through Gateway's portal back to X-Men's base in the Australian outback, as featured in Uncanny X-Men number 244. In the comic books, the Sentinels were introduced in X-Men Volume 1, number 14. In addition, they were originally shown to be only slightly bigger than a normal human. Not 3 stories tall.
Yeah.
I have an opinion on this one.
Yeah,
later on.
I do too.
Cameos on the monitors before Jean Grey and Professor X are seen include quick shots of Domino, Cannonball, and Magneto. Sabretooth is also seen once more in a clip from the original newscast in the beginning. This is the first time in the show that the line, "People fear what they don't understand," is mentioned. When the Sentinel is at the mall, it does quick scans of those trying to help Jubilee and scans Storm at a height of 5'11", weight 127, Rogue at a height of 5'8", weight 120, and Gambit at a height of 6'2", weight 180. It lists Storm and Rogue as unidentified mutant life forms and Gambit as unregistered mutant. Expendable.
You can't say that about Gambit.
You really can't. You really shouldn't. Information the Sentinel has that is hunting Jubilee. Subject, Jubilee. Name, Jubilation Lee. Height, 5 feet, 152 centimeters. Weight, 90 pounds, 40 kilograms. Race, Chinese American. Address, 764 Lucille Court West.
Okay, then.
Jubilee is shown putting on her sunglasses before using her powers. This happens quite often during the series, hinting that Jubilee can be blinded by her own powers. The president of the USA is shown as being a woman. This is most likely a reference to Hillary Clinton, who always thought she was going to be the first female president.
Yes.
You can say what you want. I don't think she's going to make it now. Names that appear on the computer, on the mutant registry computer that Beast hacks into are Michael Booton, Jerry Bryan, Andy and Chris Hamilton, Ray Sherman, Corbin Went, and John Wesley.
John Wesley?
John Wesley, who Beast just got done quoting.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I heard that. I was like, wait a minute. Like John Wesley, the guy who started the Methodist movement?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, same guy.
Probably.
Same guy.
Anywho,
he be like, I think in the next episode, he re-quotes John Wesley.
Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I know eventually we'll get to Nightcrawler, and Nightcrawler eventually became a Baptist minister. I had no idea that Hank McCoy was a Methodist.
Well, he likes to quote people a lot.
He just likes to quote people. That's all he's really doing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
he's a man of science
and culture.
And culture.
Which is why they had Fraser Crane play him in X3.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on this episode?
Oh my gosh. It is so hard. Like, as a kid watching this show for the first time, it's like, oh my gosh, this is X-Men. And like loving the show to death, and the theme song getting stuck in your head, even to the point when you're a child and you and your brothers get the brilliant idea of, back on the cassette, when you record a cassette and you get your 8-inch television and you set it next to the television and you record the intro. Yeah, that's how we got the theme, because we were kids in the 90s and didn't have modern technology.
Yes.
There was such a thing as YouTube.
That was the only really way you could dub the music over.
Yes, but this was a good story. It'd be like, it was there's the animation part of me is like, but this and this and this and this and this and this.
Let's talk on animation real quick.
Yeah,
because we are talking about like early 90s animation. We were just starting the Saturday morning cartoon renaissance of the 90s.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is still a little clunkiness, and plus they are matching the art style of the comics.
Yeah, which was Jim Lee.
Yeah, they are matching Jim Lee's artwork pretty good, and
I agree.
That's not going to be easy to animate.
No, it's not.
So what they're doing is great. Now, I will say we're both watching this on Disney Plus, and they have not remastered.
No, they have not.
All.
Oh my gosh!
You can tell we're looking at the interlaced VHS masters because all the line work is jumpy between frames.
So jumpy. Oh my gosh!
In some scenes, like when they're breaking into the
the Trask building.
The Trask building.
Yeah, which is not a government facility.
There's so much line work that they would have had to do.
Yeah.
That I know when we watched it on those old CRTs, it looked fine.
Yeah.
It looked solid as a rock, like it was supposed to. But watching it on a modern television,
high definition,
when you're not on a progressive scan screen instead of an interlace screen, and the interlace fields are still showing up, you're just watching it bounce up and down all the way through. It's like, stop. Disney, go back and do something to de-interlace this to make it look better. You are not helping your case any, especially when you got another X-Men 97 show coming up that's supposed to be coming off of this.
They might be working on it. You never know.
Maybe so. But
maybe so.
What we saw here is like the line work, because of the fact that the interlacing, the line work is jumpy.
Yeah, it is
it's a little
very
annoying.
Crunchy.
But and yeah, there's a lot of stuff where it's like, okay, yeah, they did have to hand draw all this. So it's not like any of the last television series we've watched, the more I think about it, because Tangled was digitally animated. Star Trek Lower Decks was digitally animated. Thundercats was digitally animated, but in an anime art style, so it's a little bit different. But all of those were solid as rocks. This
is not.
In this one, you can only draw so small.
Very true.
And there's a lot of spots where you can tell that's as small as they could draw it.
Yeah.
They'll draw those lines. That line weight is just going to be right where it is, because that's as small as you can get that line. And those details in the background, well,
they kind of blur.
And they kind of blend in together.
Yes.
It's like, doesn't matter how good your character model is. Way back in the background, Rogue's just going to look like a little stick figure.
Yeah. Or the scene that stuck out to me was where but Storm and Jubilee are on the roof and describing what a mutant is. Like you watch like Storm's face and it just does this the entire time. It just moves. I'm like, stop, please.
Interlacing, you're screwing up the character's face. Interlacing is going to be our true enemy throughout the entire run of this.
Apparently. Oh my!
Because I doubt they have gone through and cleaned any of it up.
No. Like, even though they've gone back and remastered a few things, like, stuff.
Yeah, but they haven't touched this yet.
No, they haven't touched this yet. They might
not be able to, if we're being honest.
Possibly.
Because if all they have are the original, are the masters they sent out to stations. If Fox Kids or Saban did not keep the film masters, if there was even ever film masters, we may not have anything.
That is true.
I do want to touch on the opening sequence a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Because let's face it, it's a great opening sequence. Theme song is great. And I do love how every character kind of has their own comic book title.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Comic book logo, which is cool. Here's the thing. I could have sworn when I was younger, it was the switching was snappier.
Oh, yeah, it's not snappy.
It's not snappy. It's like, wait a minute, you should have gone to the you're holding on Storm a little long. Shouldn't we be in the jungle following Wolverine by now? You're not in time with the music. You were in time with the music, I swear, before. Why are you not now? It's just because time has changed things. Like I said, I still swear it probably looked like it was more in time because of the difference in broadcast technologies between now and then. I mean, let's face it, this thing starts with a logo in the bottom as the X-Men theme is starting up saying in stereo. You don't see that in the streaming things anymore. No one would. That would show up really quick at the top and then go away if it showed that at all, because it's stereo. But this just the same thing they showed on TV back in the day. I bet you if the streaming information could actually decrypt closed captioning, I bet you that those signals are there too on that master.
Oh yeah,
I bet you they're there because they literally just have the master. The broadcast masters is literally what we're watching, which is great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but yeah. I just wanted to touch on that real quick.
Right.
Now, fun fact. The first time I actually saw these two episodes was when Disney Plus came out.
Oh, okay.
I never saw the original start of this show. I came in at season 2.
Really?
Yeah. That's when I came into the show. And of course, unless you somehow were lucky enough to be able to watch it every time it came on, which who was?
Yeah.
You miss an episode, you may not see it for years. And I apparently never was not watching Fox when this show started for whatever reason at that time, or maybe we were out or something. So, and I'm sure some of these I must have caught in reruns at some time, but I don't remember the story at all. I remember some of the later ones that I know are coming because they're big storylines too, for crying out loud. Even in the comics, they're big storylines.
Yeah, agreed.
But this episode in particular, I did not remember from the show. I do have a memory of this episode though, from when I was a kid.
Okay.
Because do you remember Scholastic book fairs?
Oh yeah.
I had one of those early reader things. There's technically it's a chapter book, but it's like 3 chapters. And it's like a book about this thin. And that was an X-Men book that I bought because it was an X-Men book. And it was about Jubilee. I didn't know who Jubilee really. I knew who Jubilee was, of course, but she's not Wolverine. And I read that book actually it was a comic book. That's what it was. It was a comic book adaptation of this. And I know because when she blows up the arcade machine, and the arcade owner says, "Hey, do you remember what that cost?" And she says, "Yeah, $0.25." That's not how I remember the line.
Really?
The line in the comic book says, 25 cents. And that's what played in my mind as I watched. It's like, oh, I remember this scene. She was like, 25 cents. She says, $0.25. It's like, wait, what? Okay. But that's more of what I remember this from. And I remember when I say it was a comic book, they didn't redraw it. It was clips from it was still shots from the episode that they then drew text balloons over to write the
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
Of course it was. But that's how I remember. That's my memory of Night of the Sentinels from when I was a kid, was this comic book I had.
Yeah, because I remember that as well. I remember that as well. It's like, oh my gosh, this is like clips from the show, and it's like, this is awesome.
And I didn't care at the time. It's like, this is cool. I got an X-Men comic book. I didn't know they made X-Men comic books. Because the local grocery store, which was the only place you could get comic books at the time, didn't carry X-Men because it was the 90s. We all know what was going on in the X-Men comic books in the 90s.
Yeah.
It was dark.
Yeah.
It was not for kids.
Oh, yeah.
And
But
comic books should be for kids.
Yeah. But I love, because there again, the artist in me, it's like, oh, yeah.
That's great.
Jim Lee, Adam Kirby, oh my gosh.
Oh, you got the writing of Chris Claremont is all throughout this.
Oh, yeah.
All because nearly everything they adapt is from the Chris Claremont run.
Oh, yeah. Very
the X-Men universe.
Joe Madureira.
Oh, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
This is actually a very great episode. Granted, I had forgotten that I think that adaptation was only like the first episode.
Yeah.
I don't think it included the second episode of Night of the Sentinels. Because I didn't remember any of this stuff with Bolivar Trask.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, my memory of to show you how out of the X-Men loop I truly was. My memory of Bolivar Trask comes from what's his name? What is his name? The one in the movie.
Oh, come on, Striker?
Yeah. No, Bolivar Trask. He was in one. Because they did Days of Future Past.
Yeah, that's right.
But he showed up in the Wolverine in the after credits scene.
Oh,
and he was played by Peter Dinklage, I think.
Oh, right,
which was weird.
No, I think that was that was Days of Future Past. That's right, it was.
Yeah, he showed up in Days of Future Past, but I mean, when they introduced the character as
it was in the Wolverine.
It was in the Wolverine, which was odd because that's technically a separate sub-series of the X-Men, but whatever. Continuity. What's that?
Oh yeah, but this episode in particular started off this massive line of X-Men, Spider-Man.
Oh, actually, technically, while it did create all those other shows, only X-Men the animated series and Spider-Man 94 are in the same universe.
Yes.
Now, Spider-Man did have some stuff where he crossed over later on, but there's enough discontinuity between all those that you can't really they have to count them as separate universes in the Marvel multiverse.
Yeah.
They just happen to have a Spider-Man that was a lot like Spider-Man 94 show up. So yeah, Marvel was almost the first television cinematic universe.
Yeah, they were
television
this close.
Universe.
You're like, they had everybody crossing over
because you had Batman right here next to it, and X-Men was and Marvel was doing all these big crossovers because you had to. Rogue's story, for those who don't know, involves Carol Danvers. She never showed up in the X-Men because Marvel rights license issues. Beside the point.
Yes.
She shows up in this later on. So, and
she gets her flight powers.
Yeah, that's where she gets her flight powers. And so they had characters from other stuff, even stuff they weren't making. So they had to cast them for this. And then they couldn't bring those characters back when they had to bring them back for when those actors back, because those actors had moved on. They weren't contracted to keep doing the show, unlike, the main cast.
Agreed.
We're lucky that the Spider-Man crossover got the entire main cast since they were still making X-Men at the time. Anyway.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, this episode, episodes, I love how they when they come back from episode 1 to 2, they do a slight recap, but it's told in a slightly different. They change some of the dialogue or
slightly. Some of that is because of the fact that this was originally a single episode, that we're watching the version that was cut into 2 different episodes.
True.
So when they re-edit it for 2 episodes, they may have chose different dialogue choices.
Probably.
But for some reason, the previously on segment use the version from the one-parter version.
Which is weird.
When you're in a hurry to get an episode out.
That is true. Because there again, there are certain episodes that were shot Be like they were aired before.
Wait till we get to season 3. When I started listing dates, it says, yes, this episode came out in 94 and this next one came out in 93. Out of order.
Yes, very out of order. Oh, heck, be like,
because we are doing it as close to chronological order as we can get it.
Yeah. Oh, be like, by the way, like that first shot of Sabretooth, they reused it in season 5.
They reuse a lot of shots in this show because that's what you did.
Exactly.
And no one batted an eye.
Very
you
true.
don't believe us? Go listen to our episode on the Transformers the movie from back in season 1, because we even commented, I think, on, oh look, there's the one piece of reused animation in this, because holy crap, they actually animated the whole thing except for the stupid junkyard fight.
Oh yeah, that's true. They reused 1 or 2 things there.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's great. It's a milestone when it comes to like X-Men being on TV, superheroes, Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics has been doing it for years, but this is the one that cemented it.
This is the one that got it on my X-Men on my radar.
Yeah, same here.
If it weren't for this, I would never not have been as excited as I was to go watch the original X-Men movie.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, mine was be like,
and if it weren't for this, we wouldn't have gotten Spider-Man 94 probably, which means I would not have been excited for Sam Raimi Spider-Man.
Yeah,
that first one, because I remember coming out of that film going, oh man, this is so cool. I can't wait till we get to Venom.
We don't talk about Spider-Man 3.
But we will if you vote for Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because we do talk about emo Spider-Man. We'll have to talk about emo Spider-Man.
Yes.
And actually,
oh my gosh,
you know as well as I talked about this when we we're getting ready for No Way Home, or I talked to you about it. I don't know if we ever said it on the show, but my opinion may have changed on Spider-Man 3 since I first saw it.
Oh gosh.
It's not the best movie in the world.
Right.
But I saw what they were doing. It's like, okay, this is not as bad as I said it was. It's not great, just not as bad as I said it was.
Oh, but getting back to
X-Men, and let's face it, if the things that have excited me about the MCU going forward is the fact that the 2 times I've been watching something not knowing it was coming, and all of a sudden I hear the
oh my gosh,
they're using the right song. It's like
multiverse of madness. Anybody?
Oh, it ain't just multiverse of madness, because that was not the first thing that used the riff.
Really? Where?
Ms. Marvel.
Really?
Ms. Marvel. If you've not watched it, the after credits scene.
Okay.
They say, they say something about how your DNA has this weird mutation, and as soon as they say that, you're the sounds like going because what's interesting about that, showing my geekness here
a little
we'll get back to the actual X-Men show in just a second, folks, but because of the weirdness of how the film rights, when they created the new Ms. Marvel, I can't think of her name, and I apologize. They were not promoting mutants in the comic books because they were trying to pressure Fox into stop making X-Men films so they could get the X-Men back. So they weren't promoting films they weren't getting all the money back for. So when they created Ms. Marvel, it's the original. I suspect we don't know this for certain, but I suspect the original plan was for her to be a mutant. But instead, they went with an Inhuman because they could promote Inhumans because Marvel was the only one who owned Inhumans. So they made her an Inhuman in the comic book. And in the Marvel Avengers video game, they use the Inhuman side of it. So now that Marvel has complete control over mutants again, it's like, yeah, we're going to make her a mutant and we're not going to explain it to anyone who doesn't know.
That's interesting to know.
Technically, she is the second mutant in the MCU. Because there is a mention of a character in Black Widow. that's technically a mutant character, but we never got we may have seen them on screen once.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a background character.
Who?
I don't remember. It's one of the. I think it's the guy arm wrestling. The father character. I can't think of it in the prison.
Yeah,
I think it's that character. And then you had her, and then of course you had
Taskmaster,
X-Men. No, not Taskmaster, but you had Professor X in Multiverse of Madness, and then in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, you got Namor.
Yeah, he is a mutant.
Who is technically a mutant. He's not a fully human-based mutant because he's got the
Atlantean powers.
Atlantean DNA also, except it's not Atlantis in the MCU, but beside the point. But he does have his little ankle wings, which technically means they're definitely going with his mutant backstory.
Cool.
Interesting.
Right.
But back to X-Men.
Yeah, oh my gosh, X-Men.
This is a great show.
This was a great show. Kind of like how Drew said, it'd be like, if this show had not been a success, be like, I would have not been introduced to X-Men. I wouldn't have I probably would never been introduced to comic books my cousin had, which means I would have never learned about Joe Madureira or Jim Lee or any of those guys.
You might have at least gotten Batman the Animated Series, which
that
has gotten you into that sort of things, because that was happening whether X-Men happened or not.
That is true. That was already happening.
That was already happening. In fact, wasn't X-Men, wasn't Batman 91 when it started?
Batman was 92, I think.
And this means they started around the same time.
Yeah, roughly around the same time.
Which makes sense. And they're both made by Fox.
They are.
Well, technically, Batman's made by Warner Brothers, but it was shown on Fox Kids.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite jokes in Freakazoid. Because Freakazoid was originally broadcast on Kids WB, and he starts telling this story of there's only one hero who can save us. Only one hero who can help us. And that hero is on another station. So instead we get Freakazoid. But back to X-Men.
True.
I keep talking about everything else like I don't want to talk about X-Men. But this is like my age of when I was a kid. So I've got a lot of nostalgia here. My apology.
Yeah.
Night of the Sentinels is a great episode.
It is a great two episodes.
Only real issue with this episode, and it'll be my issue anytime the Sentinels show up, is why are these robots 3 stories tall and have no care about property damage?
Yeah.
These are supposed to be, even under the best of circumstances, if they were the greatest robots on the face of the planet, they should not have been trying. They should have been doing it. Force should have been the tertiary thing they did, not primary. Not, we think that there's a mutant in this bedroom. Let's reach our head through the closed window to grab her and cause hundreds of dollars of home damage. There's a mutant in the mall. Walk straight through the giant plate glass window, stomping down the mall center walk, killing, perhaps causing murder and death and mayhem.
Yes.
This was not well thought out by either Trask or Kelly.
No, they weren't. It wasn't.
Or not Kelly, because Kelly was in this, but it wasn't. Kelly was not the guy helping Trask. It was the other guy.
Yeah.
I said his name. Hang on. Henry Peter Gyrick.
Yeah, Gyrick.
Gyrick, yes. They really did not think this through well.
No.
Of course, that was plainly obvious when Gyrick said, well, I'm just going to test this out, so I'm going to go ahead and send the prototype out to kidnap a child without authority by the police.
Yeah. Which I always got kind of was like, it's like, okay, are you supposed to be working with the government or not?
I get that you're a shadowy organization. Do you have authorization from someone to do this?
Yeah. No,
you don't. You just decided to do it because you hate mutants that badly.
Yeah.
And I get racism. That's kind of what this show is about.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what X-Men has always been about, is, not necessarily racism itself, but anytime you have oppression against a minority group of some kind.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's showing off. It's like, that's a bad thing. We should not be treating these people horribly.
Exactly.
Because apparently they'll turn into terrorists and attack us. Or
pretty much.
half of them will, the other half will protect us. That's not exactly how that worked out, but
no, exactly. It's like, yeah, because our friendly mutants attack a facility, which is not a government facility.
Yeah.
But in the second episode, it's called a government facility. But it's like Storm.
A government.
It is a government facility.
The mutant registration office, that was a government facility.
Yes.
Where they were building the Sentinels wasn't.
Yeah.
That was private property.
That was private property. But it's like, so the X-Men attack a government facility in order to destroy government files
that were given freely.
Yeah.
Why were the X-Men doing this? For the safety of all mutant kind? No, this is something the Brotherhood of Mutants will be doing. Sorry, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants will be doing soon. Why you couldn't? That's actually my biggest thing. They are pushing the whole humans hate what they don't understand thing from episode 1. Why is Magneto not into this thing till episode 3? He's the villain.
Yeah. Which is weird.
It's weird that he's not in this first, because he should be the one that's provoking the violence, and then you bring in Trask and what's his name? I never remember this guy's name.
And brother,
Gyrick.
Yeah,
Gyrick
which makes no sense.
Gyrick didn't show up in the movies. That's why I don't remember his name.
Right.
Nor has he shown up in the X-Men audio drama.
Oh my gosh!
Made by the same people who did the Power Rangers audio drama. Go check that out. It's a fun show.
Yeah, but oh my gosh! Like there's the one point where like they're trying to be sneaky about getting in the government facility, in air quotes here.
Yes.
And this poor guard gets fried by Storm. It's like, oh, he'll be out. No, he'll be dead.
That's not the worst one. The worst one is Morph. This guy, Morph, walks up to this guy as Morph, not morphed into anybody, but as Morph, walks up to this guy and says, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And then he morphs into the guard and says, I don't remember what he said, but then takes him out. It's like, the guy was just doing his job. He's just a regular guard. He didn't. Yeah, he's a rent-a-cop, for crying out loud. Maybe not actually a rent-a-cop.
Yeah, these are probably military MPs.
Yeah, you kidding? Did you see the gut on this guy? That's true. I'm not body shaming. How can I body shame? I got a big one myself. But this guy is how they would have drawn in the 90s.
Very true.
The rent-a-cop. The only thing he was missing was a cup of coffee and a donut.
And a scooter.
No, he wouldn't have a scooter back then.
That's true.
But that's all he was missing. And then Morph takes him out. Let's talk about Morph.
Oh gosh, Morph.
First off,
definitely later on, it gets annoying.
No, hang on. We ain't talking about later on, because there's a reason he came back. I had to look this up, because here's the thing. Morph was created for the show.
Yes.
Because they wanted to kill a character in the first episode
that wasn't
that you wouldn't care about. They were originally going to use an actual created character for this. Thunderbird, who did die in like the second of the X-Men.
Yeah.
Like the issue after Giant Size X-Men, which introduced Wolverine and
that bunch.
That whole gang. Someone wisely said to Saban, "Hey, perhaps in this show where we're promoting how it's not a good idea to, make fun of or ostracize or minorities, we not kill the only Native American on the show that we have access to. Maybe that's not a good idea."
Yeah.
So then they created a character, Morph, and they decided, let's give him the most evil voice you can give a character.
Our most annoying voice.
I don't know. This is kind of like this voice I call the Ratman voice, because I swear it was used by a character named Ratman somewhere. I don't remember where this was, but it's that kind of ratty, not like you hate the guy's voice as soon as you hear it. Fun fact, yes, they killed him in this episode. They brought him back because of the popularity of the character.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who likes Morph?
They actually brought him in the Age of Apocalypse in the comics, because he's a different looking character.
Yes.
But they brought Morph back.
I was like, why? He's a red shirt.
He was supposed to die.
He was supposed to die and stay dead to show rule of red shirts. Do you know what they are? Do you know what the actual definition of a red shirt is? I'm not talking about where it came from.
Yeah.
Talking about the definition of a red shirt. Red shirt is a character, is a glorified extra whose entire purpose is to either be fatally wounded or killed to show the danger of the situation without putting any of your major characters at risk.
Exactly.
It comes from Star Trek, the original series, where anytime you had the crew go on an away team, you had Captain Kirk, Science Officer Spock, Dr. McCoy, somebody else, and Ensign Jimmy.
Who was a red shirt.
Who was a red shirt. Because he was security.
Yeah.
So he wore red. That's where the term red shirt comes from.
I was like, when I was a kid, I saw like a little bit of Star Trek, and then someone said that. I was like, oh my gosh, they're gonna kill Scotty because he wore red.
But he was an engineer.
Sure.
So red shirt did not refer to the fact that almost all of these characters wore red, not that every character who wore red would be. Right. But that just means Scotty is a great character because he was the only red shirt who went on away missions and survived.
True.
Actually, that's not entirely true. There was one other red shirt who, at least on the show, never died. And you want to know who he went on to play on television?
Who?
The most interesting man in the world on the Dos Equis beer commercials.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding. But enough Star Trek.
Right. We're talking about
X-Men.
Morph. Morph. Most annoying character ever.
Dumbest character ever. Now, granted, I only know him from these 2 episodes. So I have no idea how good a character Morph will later be. Well, you're telling me he ain't gonna be, and I trust your judgment.
Not. There's
but I still will form my own opinion when the time comes. But in these 2 episodes, I hate this guy.
As the story continues, as probably most of you people know,
he does
come back, and he's referenced over and over and over again because he sells the stupidest jokes, and apparently Wolverine just loves the guy to death as a friend. It's like, oh, Morph, you're so funny, ha ha ha. To kind of quote Retro Blasting, the YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, I can hear it now. It's like, oh my gosh, why are we talking about this stupid character the entire season? Because we got to feel bad about Morph.
Well,
Morph was annoying.
It's your only story hook from the beginning of this.
That's true.
Because you've got other things, like you got Jubilee going, but Wolverine has nothing yet. That's the thing. Wolverine is just a guy here. We have no idea how he feels about Jean Grey yet.
Yeah.
We have no idea how he feels about anything other than, I just gave Scott I tell Scott I made him a convertible. Which is a great line.
Agreed. Or the line he says over and over again, be like, I go where I want to go. I'm like, you said this 4 times already.
And I don't care because it's so fun.
It is fun.
Because that's the thing. Everyone likes Wolverine.
Yeah.
We shouldn't, probably. But we all love him. Granted, I think Cyclops is a better written character at this point, but Cyclops will never get any real character development.
Yeah,
he's always Cyclops.
That's true.
There's a reason he's like the most.
He's
like,
dude.
I know he gets some other stuff because of his connection to Jean Grey, and I have seen all the episode titles, so I know what's. And I remember many of these stories initially from this show, not from anywhere else. So I know what's coming.
Yeah.
And I know he will get some character development in connection to Jean Grey.
Yeah. Jean Grey in his past.
Yes. I know that's coming, but for the most part, it's like, yep, you're James Marsden. And you were James Marsden long before James Marsden was playing this role.
Oh my gosh. Oh, all I have to say is when they introduce Sinister in his ideas of mutant genetics, and then it gets funky and all out.
And I know he'll get some more when Kyle Summers shows up.
Yeah,
his brother.
And when
Cable, probably
I'm from the future.
Cable.
Yeah, Cable.
Geek Devotion's his favorite character.
Really?
Yes.
Cool. Didn't know that. Awesome.
You learn things.
Exactly.
Anyway, Do we have anything more to talk about?
No,
it's all over the place.
We went from here to there, bouncing around just to talk about this 2 episodes.
No, because this is the first one we've talked about where our initial viewing of it was when we were kids. And so all of our memories mixed together.
Exactly.
Because it was X-Men, Batman the Animated Series,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, and Tiny Toon Adventures.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, that's a movie I need to put on that list sometime, is How I Spent My Summer Vacation.
A Tiny Toons movie?
Yes, there was a Tiny Toons movie.
Really? I didn't know this.
I think it was straight to video.
Oh, okay.
But, it does exist. It was the first time I ever seen any of these.
That's right. I remember that.
Yes.
I remember that.
How I Spent My Summer Vacation. It's a great little show.
Agreed.
Anyway, do we have anything more to add?
No, except
out?
Snick. Or shink.
Anyway, join us.
Morph.
Stupid Morph. 1 year before Morph will be a word I actually give 2 flying bananas about. Which I'm looking forward to us getting to an episode in season 4. Because there's a cameo, not cameo, but there's a shout out to Power Rangers.
Oh,
in an episode.
I think I remember this.
And you even hear a couple notes of the Power Rangers theme in it.
Oh, that's hilarious. And also,
it's not really it. It's just it's like it's more of a taste of it. Kind of.
Okay.
It's not it, but it's like, oh, they actually did that.
And also, aren't they doing X-Men 97 this year?
I don't remember when it's coming out.
Okay.
I don't know when. I don't think we need to talk about this because as of right this minute, we're ending our coverage of X-Men at the end of season 5. We do need to talk about if we will do the first season of 97 immediately after.
Okay.
But we're not making that decision tonight.
Got it.
So, but next episodes we're going to be reviewing next week are Intermagneto and Dangerous Reunions.
Oh, okay. So I just looked it up. X-Men 97 will premiere on Disney Plus in the fall of 2023.
Which means about the time we are finishing this up.
Exactly.
Either way. Yes. So, the year 2023 is going to be the year of X-Men because it literally goes up to Miyazaki month.
Wow. You're not kidding.
This is the longest show we've done. It may kill us. But we're doing it.
We're doing it for you people.
Forget that. I'm doing this as a good excuse to catch up before X-Men 97.
That too.
Either way. Just like this show was a good reason to watch Tangled the series.
That is so true.
And for you was a good reason to watch Star Trek Lower Decks.
That is true.
And then a good excuse to watch Thundercats anime.
Yeah.
But besides I guess it really is what this podcast really is for us. It's an excuse to watch stuff we normally wouldn't.
That is true. That is so true.
Because we're both accurate on what can I make you watch that you've not seen? I know this random thing I remember from when I was a kid that you don't know at all about a rooster who sings like Elvis.
Oh, yeah.
What is Jacob gonna make me watch that I never would have watched before? A story about a dying dinosaur.
Land Before Time.
And before I hadn't watched it before we
or
did this.
Anastasia.
Summer Wars.
Some of the Miyazaki. Your Name.
Weathering with You after you saw Your Name would have been one you to watch.
Yeah. Some of the Miyazakis I never heard of. I never seen them.
That's because some of them aren't Miyazaki.
That is true. Or
we're doing all
Ghibli.
of Ghibli.
Or Ghibli.
Which means we're doing some of the interesting titles too.
That is true.
I don't know. I still like My Neighbors the Yamadas, even though it's interesting.
It's interesting. Let's say that.
It's a different type of show. And the less said about some other stuff in there, the better. Either way.
Right.
Join us next time for Legend of Dragon Ball Tale, Pharaoh, Intermagneto, and what was the last one? I remember all the Deadly Reunions. Join us for those, and we will do that next week. In the meantime, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron. And his Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. His Facebook page, Drew's Photo Bin, to see his photography. His Letterboxd page at GGeorge759. His Twitter at GGeorge759. And Instagram at Drew Dodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast, on Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming, on YouTube at Cellcast, on Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell with a single L.
Does a mall baby eat chili fries?
Oh my gosh, at least the ears are gone.
I don't know about that, Doc.
Oh, brother. Deal it.